Paul and I actually have a lot in common, and we grew up with pretty similar lives. For example, both of our parents raised us with the priority of education and being successful. One thing that was different for Mal and I was the level that her surrounding environment, like outside of her family, placed on her education. This is apparent in that her school offered a class on Saturdays that wasn't like required, but the students knew that they needed to attend. This class was different from normal classes because it was an opportunity to get more individualized help that really aided their success. On an even more extreme level, the government offered incentives to do well, including full ride scholarships and stipends. But it wasn't until the second interaction where I started to see substantial cultural differences. When I was cultural host, I took them all to the Wharton Center to see Wicked because performing arts has always been a big part of my life, especially when I was younger through dance and being in orchestra and all my friends and family that were involved in the theater. Because of this, I really value self-expression and originality in people, but this I already knew. What surprised me during this interaction was when Amal told me how she thought my culture was very different from hers, because there's such a focus on things like arts and sports. She then proceeded to tell me that if she was home, she would have just had a girls' night with her friends, but nothing quite as fancy as what I did. This made me realize that many people, including myself, tend to opt to go for something more extravagant and impressive. This made me question if I go to see plays and basketball games and things like that just because that's the number one thing I want to be doing or because it looks more impressive than hanging out with my friends at home. I think her observation has resonated in me, and damn it, wow, 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 wow. Resonate. I think her observation has resonated in me, and as a result, I now focus more on the people I am with and not what we are doing. Even as I say this, I know I would still go to performances, and I think that's okay. Not necessarily always going to go to big events, but also don't always stay at home, but just find a good, comfortable balance between the two. A big thing I learned as a result of the educational interview is about prioritizing education. I grew up thinking that the United States really did prioritize education, but the more Amal and I talked, I realized that different parts of the world put a lot more value on education, especially in that they truly care how well the students are learning the material and not just like acing assessments. Overall, I think the Global Learning Project is really interesting, and I think it is a wonderful eye opening opportunity for us to see our lives through an outsider's eye. And Amal may have been my partner for this project, but she became a very good friend of mine, and that is one of my favorite things about this project. Thank you.